When I decided that I wanted to do this, I told myself 1 year, just give it 1 year, give it an honest effort. And here we are, 1 year after my first weekly vlog. And I've learned a lot.
I just bought a really expensive camera.
I bought my first mirrorless camera. I learned a new editing software. I learned how to color grade. I fought the public embarrassment of telling my friends that I make vlogs now.
You want to get me on camera. You want
Girl, get out!
I fought my own insecurities about being embarrassed in the first place. And because of all that, I've been able to document arguably the most amazing year of my life to date. So yeah, let's talk about that. But before I get into my big 3 takeaways, I want to talk a little bit about the whys. Why did I even decide to do this in the first place? And I think there are a lot of reasons, but there's really one reason that hopefully will keep me going way after this video is posted. Okay, motivations. Where did this all come from? I don't come from a creative professional background, but I've always had an affinity for making videos. And that love started at a super young age. I remember when YouTube first came out, my cousins and I would hang out every weekend and just make videos. We made dozens of videos. I won't say hundreds, but we made a lot at that time. And to this day, I'm still such a YouTube kid. Of course, as I started getting older, life gets a bit more complicated, and I could tell that I'd lost touch with that love of making videos. Doing this was kind of an ode to my younger self, who would have been so happy to see me posting on YouTube all the time. Another reason that I started doing this was kind of exposure therapy. I have always gotten so nervous in front of a camera or talking in front of a group of people. And so it felt like a more comfortable way of combating that. And I say the last reason, the big reason why I started doing this is, and this might sound corny, but bear with me, I am the most qualified person to make the documentary about my life. And I think I really learned that from my dad. When I was a kid, if you asked me to draw my dad, I would probably draw him with a camcorder in his hand. He filmed everything. The last party with him, his friends, and his family before he moved to Asia. He filmed my birth, every soccer game, and every little moment in between. He got it all, and I'm so grateful that he did. Right now, I feel like I'm in such a pivotal part of my life. I just have an amazing community around me, great friends, an amazing boyfriend, awesome cat, beautiful home, and I would just hate to forget any of it. So yeah, that is a little context about why I vlog. I'm just thinking about decades from now, looking back and being able to watch these. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I've learned a lot throughout the process, and I'm gonna share with you guys the 3 biggest takeaways. But if you're watching this and you think that you might wanna start doing something like this, I hope that this video can be of some help to you, and I hope that lesson 3 doesn't deter you. It shouldn't. It hasn't stopped me yet. Yet. So, lesson number 1. People gravitate towards authenticity. The people of YouTube can snuff out bullshit so fast, and I know this because I am the people of YouTube, but they just as quickly praise people that they can relate to, that they watch and can tell, love what they do, love what they make. The people who are actually having fun doing this. What I've really learned is that people don't connect with perfection, they connect with honesty. I have a lot of YouTubers that inspire me, but I say the biggest inspiration right now is this Japanese Australian YouTuber named Tatsuki. I'm just sitting on rocks right now, by the way. I pretty quickly latched onto his style of creating. He makes super cozy videos, kind of lifestyle stuff, videography, and other things that he's into. Thought about emulating a lot of the things that he does. So he talks about cafes and clothes, and I pretty quickly realized that that wasn't me. I think people have really gravitated to Tatsuki's videos because he is so himself, and it really reads. When I was trying to emulate him, I was really trying to emulate something that I saw worked, but it wasn't really me. We're not the same person. I was almost dulling my own personality to try to fit into something that I saw worked. And once I started to take myself out of that box, really just make things that I enjoy, that's really made this whole thing super exciting and fun. And it's also in turn helped me connect with a lot of the people that have watched my videos, who have stumbled across my page. I know it's a super small channel, but I've had super meaningful comments on my videos, super meaningful interactions with people. I mean, first of all, thank you, whoever watches this video and my other videos and people that have left such nice comments. It really does mean so much. Once I started to become more comfortable on camera, those connections became more meaningful. I think it takes time to show who you are on camera to figure out how best to tell your story and the stories around you. But that real feeling that you get from videos, the one where you feel like you're talking to a buddy, I think that's what makes people really care. And that's lesson 1. All right, lesson number 3. All right, lesson number 2. You learn by doing and not by preparing. Preparation is important, but hear me out. I'm sure you've heard of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule, but it's really applicable to this idea and something that actually comes up a lot in the climbing gym. So a lot of the times when I'm here, I have people come up to me, usually new climbers, and they ask me, what should I do to get strong? What kind of hangboard protocol should I do? Should I use the campus rungs? And they'll name a bunch of advanced training techniques. And then I'll just ask them how long they've been climbing for. And typically they say 3 months, 6 months, less than a year. And then unfortunately, when they say that, I have to give them the advice that they don't want to hear. And that is to just climb, just climb all the time. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They want a shortcut. They want a way to improve faster. And unfortunately, with a lot of new things, you really just have to do the thing. You just have to do it over and over as much as you can, anytime you can. You know, I look back at a lot of my first videos and I really just laugh. And I'm just so impressed with my earlier self because he just got it done. The videos are gritty. They are put together in whatever way I knew how. But something beautiful about that and being consistent is that you can really see your growth. I can go back and watch every 5th video that I've made and see so much improvement, see the things that I intentionally set out to learn and implement over, my periods of making videos. You really just need to start and figure it out from there. It's really that time, the hours and hours of editing, the indecision about music, the re-recording because you don't like the way you sounded, the software malfunctions, the rendering issues, all of these things that every editor, every video maker has gone through. There's really no substitute for what you learn going through it. There's no mentor, there's no YouTube video, there's no online class that can replace just doing the thing and failing and experimenting and continuing to do the thing. Yeah, I really can't emphasize it enough. There's no secret sauce for putting in the time, getting the repetitions in, and making videos. Just making videos. A year ago, I would scrutinize every cut that I made, every song choice, every frame that I added to a video. But over time, I've kind of created this beautiful harmony in my workflow. This idea that nothing's going to be perfect, but I really do just need to put things out into the world. I think the most important skill that I've learned in these 365 days is how to make a video and post it. Simple as that. That is so valuable. All right, I'm going to go climb now and eat my granola. Look at that. Lesson three is, if you can't tell, this is so hard for me right now, what I'm doing. And this is lesson 3. And it's that talking in public never gets easier. Never gets easier. And honestly, this one might be a me thing because I'm low-key shy, but it never gets easier. I still do it. but it never gets easier. Like right now I'm at the park and there's a ton of people behind me and around me. When I take my tripod out, when I, adjust my camera to get the shot, when I'm doing something a little bit performative, when I start talking to the mic, that shit's embarrassing. I can't help it. When I started doing this, I really thought that would go away with practice. And I think this is the real lesson here. It's that not everything is going to get easier, but you will start to be able to sit in discomfort a little bit more. If you can prove to yourself that it's not going to stop you from doing what you want to do, then that's a huge win. I think literally every time I record in public, I'm super anxious and a little embarrassed, and I'm looking around all the time. What if someone in this park knows who I am? What if they think I'm a loser? What if they ask me what I'm doing? Realistically, no one gives a shit. No one's looking at me. I just think they're looking at me. And if they are, they're just curious because I'm talking to a lens. Something that I really thought would get easier and never did. But I honestly think this is my most important lesson. It's to get scared, get uncomfortable, do things you wouldn't normally do, and just prove to yourself that you can do them. And that trait is so important. And it's especially important for me, and I'll tell you why. Remember when I said I was gonna get deep? So in high school, I created a super deep fear of public speaking. It debilitated me. I would skip classes because I didn't want to speak in front of a group of people. And this can happen to so many people for so many different reasons. For me, it was because I was realizing I was gay and I was in an all-guys Catholic high school. I know that's terrifying. I basically thought that if I stood in front of people long enough, that they would catch me out, that they'd figure out that I was gay and my life would be ruined. But yeah, fast forward to college, I started getting more comfortable speaking, but the anxiety always stayed with me. No matter how often I do it, whether that's at work for presentations or little speeches at friends' birthdays or anything, it stuck with me. And even right now, while I was setting up this tripod, my heart was beating. I just live with that anxiety. But it's really awesome. I mean, every time I now talk into the camera, I'm kind of telling myself that I am scared. I can admit it, I'm scared, but I'm not gonna let it stop me. And that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's my story. Lesson number 3. Talking in public never gets easier, but doing challenging things is important, and getting scared is important, and you should do it often,